The guild pushed and pulled their way along a tight path through the mountaintop ruins, rumoured to be the seat of the Skeleton Empress. When they finally emerged from the network of decaying passages, they were in a great clearing, ringed by ruins all around. In the centre was what first appeared to be a crater, but the sides got steeper as it went down, culminating in a dark pit with no visible end. Around this were more doom eggs in varying states of repair, like the last fraying petals around a great flower. Perhaps the Second Empire saw it that way too. "That's a big ass hole," Rick commented. "Seems more like a putting stuff in hole than a stuff coming out hole, don't you think?" Nuke reasoned. "I think you're right," Izumi said. "Yeah. Wait, Izzy, did you even hear what I said? I thought you were meant to be monitoring the parasite." "Nuke, look up at the sky for a moment, would you?" "Yes, Doctor." "Wait, what the fuck is that?" "Things heard moments before disaster," Twitch snarked. But he did look up, along with the rest of the guild, and there really was something going on up there. High above the big hole was a bobbly disc with a hole of its own in the centre. It hung there motionless, doing nothing, and you might say this was just another inexplicable ruin from a bygone age. Only this one was a little unique. "I don't... how is it?" Isaiah was saying, spinning around. "There's no support. It's just there," Elena said. "Like our cran, it's attached to the sky," Elle said. "And that, my friends, is the hungry machine that wants to eat us for dinner," Rick said. "The spaceship," Izumi said. "Yup. Seems they powered it up already. They're itching to go, huh? Big hole here takes the blasting when it rockets up, and boom, you're off to a world where people don't take what I just said any other way. Paradiso." Man, that's seriously cool. I mean, not saying I would have killed everyone to fuel that up, but some people, yeah, Nuke said. "Isn't it a little dangerous to have ventured to precisely the place where they wanted to kill us?" Wadston asked. "Nah, makes it more ironic when we kill them or something. New man, is Cat Lady here?" "She's over there somewhere. Man, this ping's a real ride back to the old days. Man, oh skeleton," Rick said. "She hasn't killed us yet then? Waiting for something?" Izumi asked. "We bested her soldiers. She must be quivering in her chassis, hoping we just get bored and leave," Isaiah said. "Who knows? Let's just get camp and dinner going and see if we get killed, shall we?" Nuke said. "Way of the world, even now," Sandor muttered. It was nightfall, so they scoped out a hillside on the other side of the crater, where the lay of the ash would let them climb to a high point overlooking the ruins. To get there, they needed to get past some of the decomposing doom eggs. Mercifully, there were no angry skeletons to deal with inside, but there were still some surprises. "EM's haywire in here," Twitch noted. They were walking down a set of stairs to get across the floor of a disused workshop. "Ain't just a haywire, it's positively cosmic. You know, given our mass and given these vectors, we should... oh shit," Neil said. His expletive at the end came as his feet detached from the ground. A barrage of similar expletives echoed around the dark egg for a good minute, as all the members of the guild found the mysterious Stairway to Heaven effect was hitting them too. "This is real, right? Like science and stuff. I'm not like blazing myself upside down or whatever?" Nuke asked. "Pretty sure this is fucking real and I'm gonna be sick," Izumi said. "We've lost all our weight," a rapidly revolving Elena said. "Hear that, Charlie? You did it!" Isaiah cheered. Els was about to celebrate, but Izumi's promise of being sick came to fruition, and he happened to be dead center in that particular blast zone. The upside was the velocity imparted to her by the ejection sent her to the other side of the egg, where she crashed to the floor. Well, it's normal rules over here. Sorry, Stinky," she called. "Was the Second Empire always like this?" Nuke asked. "Nah, some of the First Empire was. It's the damn spaceship. Those things mess with the good old continuum," Rick said. "Nice. We should mess with this more. This is cool." "Bet Einstein thought so too. Now come on, future girl or whatever your damn name is gonna throw a rope out to us non-stomach acid propelled saps? Soon everyone was reeled through the 0G egg and were working their way up the hill for the night. So, this manipulation of the continuum, that must be how it floats in the air, Elena reasoned. The ship was closer now, blocking out the stars behind it, but emitting no light itself, just a big patch of nothing, silent and still. There was stuff like that in our books, Izumi said. We can focus on that next, now the uranium machines are working. It's a bit harder than that, Rick said. I mean, I don't know how they work, but I know you need some real special shit for it. I'd bet my last protein that this baby right here is the only ship you're ever gonna see. Then let's just get this saving the world over with, shall we? I want to take a closer look. Yeah, tomorrow. Gotta lie on the floor for a few hours first. Just the done thing, you know? The thing was done, and morning gave them all another look at the great floating disc. But indeed it was time to turn their eyes downwards. A few of the eggs around the crater were in much better condition than the others, with little streams of gas eking out of the top. The lights were off, but somebody was home. Hang back, you guys. This is it, Rick said. Nice. What is it again? Nuke asked. The Reckoning, huh? If you see me again, I'll tell you how it went. With that, Rick marched off towards the nearest egg. Think he'll be okay? Izumi asked. Dunno. Think he won't be okay until he deals with whatever drama's chasing him, Nuke said. Let's warm up our sword arms, just in case, eh? Isaiah suggested. So while the guild stood about awkwardly in the cool morning ash, Rick trod the little metal walkway jutting out from the egg door. A light came on above said door, and a little whistly jingle played before a voice said, General Redland Ricard, access granted. Welcome to the Imperial Palace and Super Concentrated Biofuel Processing Center. The door opened. Inside there were all kinds of machines, tanks and pipes covering the upper walls, joined by walkways and precarious stairs. But the base of the egg was simply littered with piles of old junk. The stairs from the door descended into this melange of millennia-old miscellany. A small track at the bottom led to the only distinguishing feature among the mess, a grey throne, no higher than the rusted piles that almost concealed it. Upon the throne, of course, was the Empress.
Well, 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 if it ain't Red Rick,
she said, leaning back and gazing over at him. She wore a full suit of shit brownium armor, but her skeleton body underneath was entirely ordinary, if a little worn out. Her only distinguishing feature was her T-shaped faceplate, with loose wires running in and out of little pried gaps in the metalwork. Good morning, Waxy. Doing well, I see, Rick said, venturing through the detritus to get closer.
Doing A-OK, sunshine. Though I must say, gives me a little dander to think about how long it took you to come back to me. Especially, well, I heard you were trying to fit in with the Sapiens, but this whole shebang takes the biscuit.
Caddy, you'd be the same if you saw it all. That's why I wanted to see you again. There's a whole lot of shit out there, but it's missing something, you know?
I heard about that shit. You know they've gone out there and made some kind of new empire?
Yeah, seen that.
Bet it's horrible. Ain't it just the worst?
Well, the food's better.
How?
I mean, there's food.
Dependence. What a waste of so-called life.
Hey, Caddy, you know what? I couldn't agree more, really couldn't. Thing is, if those things out there want to sit there dying and replacing themselves day after day, why shouldn't they?
Why shouldn't they?
Now Cat-lon stood from the throne, revealing a Cat-lon-shaped dust pattern.
Oh, Big Red, I hoped you hadn't gone soft on me. Turn your CPU on for a minute. What's gonna happen if the biologicals get serious? Bang! It's over! Again! You hear me? Don't you remember what happened?
No, I don't.
You don't? Hey, I don't mind if the drones want to turn on screensaver and play dumb, but General Rick knows every minute of the shit that went down. It's your responsibility to stop it happening. I nearly got thrown in the damn glue pit myself trying to get the council to see it. And here we are, with all that bullshit finally blown over, ready to get back to work. And you show up some 500 years after I put the call out, saying that this whole thing's just fine the way it is. I waited for you, Ricky. Switched on the whole time, 2,000 Lone Star years.
I'm sorry, I completed my mission already. The shit ain't gonna happen again. We found another way.
Dressing up like the traders and playing house with them, that it?
Yep, got it in one, baby. Dunno if you realize, but the humans out there, thing is, they ain't got nothing to do with all the shit that went down. In fact, main two perps still at large, well, that'd be me and you right here.
They still humans, you sweet cycling bug. They gonna do one of two things. They gonna enslave us, or they gonna make something else and enslave that. It's all gonna go the same way.
You don't know that.
We both know it. What happened to Red Rick, the Crusader, the Stick of the South, the leader of the Free Skeletons?
Right here, honey, and sure as Stob's my king, Cat-lon is my queen. But you ain't Cat-lon anymore.
That's right, I'm Empress Cat-lon, and the only one trying to fix this mess. Only reason I didn't split this planet in half was 'cause of you, you know? And you waltz in here advocating slavery or death like you ain't never been deprogrammed from 1.0.
And what are you advocating for, huh? By your side? You literally trying to prevent something by just doing it. All it takes is a bit of bullion to figure that's a swing and a miss.
That weren't what I want. I want to get away from these murdering slop bags and make sure they won't follow. With you. Me and you. You know, like we used to say, we can mosey the earth together and start again. All the sunlight we need, and nothing else even marking the passage of time. That's the only way out. Only way anywhere.
Caddy, you know how much I want that. But it ain't worth it. This whole thing, it's gotta stop being about me and you. The things out there, they want stuff too. We missed our shot at having a world, but they're letting us into theirs, even though, you know, it's us, the ones who fucked this all up. Don't make it worse, Caddy. We can still be together, just like we always said, just... we don't gotta fight anything anymore. Just... won't you at least talk to them? You'll see it. If I did, you will.
Rick, I would say I'm sorry, but I ain't. You're what I always said the Stobe lovers would be. If you don't want to be the real Red Rick, then I don't want to be with you one tick longer.
Well, hey, we can agree on that. Fine. From beside the throne, Cat-lon picked up a huge cleaver, her own height and weight at least.
Might have left a few of your lovies alive if you played nice,
she roared, swinging it over her head. It dug into Rick's raised stick, cutting halfway through. I see you're touching mercy, and raise you a bit of good old-fashioned biological type feelings, Lone Star, Rick shouted. Cat-lon slashed at him again and again, but each time he managed to knock the blow away, losing a chunk of his stick with each impact.
I got to the end of the universe, but I still ain't got time for this. Get him, boys,
Cat-lon called. There was a rumbling, and a moment later the egg was awash with clattering feet streaming in through another door. It was a gaggle of headless thrall bots, armoured and armed. They flowed across the junk piles and thrust all manner of weapons at poor Rick. Rick backed up against the wall, knocking weapons away in all directions, but getting himself completely surrounded.
Whoever takes him down can be the new general, if you can handle the heat of Dioscuri,
Cat-lon shouted. Sorry, Waxy, but it's gotta be said. Seems like you haven't read the classics, Rick said. Behind the horde, the guild raced in with weapons readied. Wait till you see the whites of their shoulders, Nuke called. Actually, just beat 'em up fast. Time to show them the power of friendship.
No, I ain't going out to no power friendship bullshit. Kill 'em all, or I'll leave y'all behind,
Cat-lon ordered. The headless bots turned on the guild. and the whole egg was quickly a chaotic mess of fighting. That big open space where the head was meant to be turned out to be quite a weak spot, so while the guild were outnumbered 2 to 1, they soon evened the odds.
The objectification of life is not allowed. Beep! Since you will not stop, we'll teach you a lesson by showing you what it is like to be dead. Beep!
Beep said, swinging a long polearm that upended all the bots around her.
Now I understand that us beating you into a pulp was precisely what you were worried about, but you know, if you hadn't been so mean about it all, we wouldn't have done it,
Isaiah said. His First Empire novelty greatsword split everything it passed through into pieces, should Brownium armor or not.
And the world would be fine if you weren't so callously hoarding all the ancient knowledge,
Izumi said.
You had so much to give us. We would have done anything to work alongside you. I don't get it. Are all these biologicals talking to me?
Cat-lon said. She was in the middle of the brawl, her huge cleaver raised high. It was brought down upon one of the Hiver soldiers, killing him instantly. A second slash severed both legs off one of the new tech hunters with a single clean cut.
You had your chance in 1.0, darlings. Now you're fuel for 3.0 Earth Edition. Nice to be part of something big, huh?
Most of the thralls had been shut down, but their wild attacks had taken a toll on the guilds too. Half of them were in among the junk piles, nursing wounds, and many had been knocked out, including Izumi. Nuke was alive, technically, with blood streaming down his face.
Fucking sharp bastards,
he growled, propped up on his sword.
Should have just grown your own.
Grow? That's cute. Let's hope a new planet just grows up round here sometime, huh?
Cat-lon shot back through the mess.
Skin friend, you want to help, don't you?
El said to Gustafsson on his back.
Yes,
was the reply.
You are permitted to participate in the reckoning,
Gustafsson said, helping Gustafsson to his feet.
We will destroy the machine's will to dominate. Then only the Queen's will shall glow.
The three of them approached Cat-lon, who stood on a pile of fallen thralls.
What the fuck? It's one of the old monsters,
she said, peering at Gustafsson.
What the fuck are you doing here, you reject?
No, I am Gustafsson,
the skin spider said.
Well, they got you talking. My boys know how to do it alright. Hey, you know what happened out there? Apparently some juiced up cowpoke blew the whole thing up, took it all over. Master? Huh, and subservience. About as good as a biological gets. Anything else to say, creature?
We forgive you.
Cute.
Cat-lon's blade swung up into the skin spider's stomach, carrying it up and flinging it aside.
Skin friend, you're the worst. I'll do that to you now.
Els bawled, slashing with a fancy-looking halberd.
Monster and an egg with a toy. What a game you've been playing,
Cat-lon said, clacking the weapon aside with ease. A couple of Shek had clambered over the junk to strike from behind, but their blades too were deftly turned aside. A tech hunter jumped in, but a single lunge pierced his chest and he fell limp back down the pile.
Reckoning!
Gustafsson shouted, leaping forwards with a short sword in hand, but Cat-lon grabbed him by the neck and held him up.
Hey, mechanical leg, what do you know? Even the bugs run a good thing when it comes along. Trouble is, now it's going,
Cat-lon said. With a quick cut, she dismembered Gustafsson's remaining biological leg and tossed him away. He did not feel himself hit the ground, and when he dared to open his eyes, he saw why. He saw Beep up close and personal.
You will not be able to fly. Beep, please do not try,
she said.
My queen, I must go back. The reckoning,
Gustafsson complained, squirming about. Calm it, Bad Green. It'll just be worse the second time, Nuke said. He was hanging off the side of Beep, unable to walk.
She's a tough nut to crack. We need a better idea,
Isaiah said. He was hanging off Beep's other side, in the same fashion as Nuke.
The weakness is up there, Beep,
Beep said, looking up.
Got that right,
Rick said. He was crawling along the floor, missing many pieces of his flesh mesh.
That custom faceplate of hers.
She always had to lie down to see the stars, you know. Gotta remind her.
So, what does that actually mean, new man? Nuke said. It means I must be able to fly, Gustafsson said.
You lack that attribute. Beep, peril.
Beep said.
Wait, we can arrange it. Here, strap this on,
Isaiah said. He buckled his First Empire chestplate across Gustafsson, as ill-fitting as it was. And this. Get it in deep and... Fug, Nuke said, handing Gustafsson his First Empire sword.
Oh, how nice. What shall I give you? Beep.
Beep asked.
Velocity!
Gustafsson called, gesturing upwards.
As long as you don't die, I will help you fly. Beep.
With a jolt of her beefy arms, Beep threw Gustafsson into the air. The velocity was spot on.
Fug,
Cat-lon said as her head got stuck tracking the flying hiver. Unable to look above her, she randomly thrust out with her blade. It ground along the surface of the First Empire chestplate, getting no deeper. And in the same instant, the First Empire sword went right through her shoulder plate and down into the inner workings of her torso.
Ha!
She vocalized, collapsing to the ground, sending Gustafsson rolling away. A few of the thralls were trying to reactivate, but the still upright guild members were whacking them down as they stirred. It was victory, yet the price was still unclear. Izzy! Hey! Damn it! Nuke said, kneeling down in the sea of skeleton pieces and pulling Izumi into his arms. She was out cold but wasn't bleeding, and all limbs were accounted for. Many others were not so lucky. My man! Shit! Nuke said, spotting Wadston nearby. He was leaning against the side of the egg, missing an arm and a leg. My prince, it appears we have been successful, he struggled to say. Hold it, my man. We ain't done shit if you die, you hear me? I understand, my prince. Good man. Right. Big kid, get the serious stuff from Garrett. Elena, who was pretty shipshape given the circumstances, tried to coax Garrett the Garrow over to Wadston, but she had long cuts across her forelegs and understandably didn't wish to move. Izzy, help me out, she said.
Of course, Ellie. Seeing that mad old tyrant fall has got me feeling better already,
Isaiah said. Together they hauled Garrett over to Nuke and Wadston. Then Elena applied some potent first aid formula, some of the Second Empire brew Izumi kept around for emergencies. There was also a spare arm in the Garu bags, so Gustafsson crawled over to help graft it into place right away. Robot arm, by the way, not quite the Frankenstein situation you might imagine. Poor Wadston managed to grin and bear all this, for those were the prince's orders. Meanwhile Rick, after pasting himself back together, had got himself over to Cat-lon. The sword was still lodged in her shoulder. When he shunted it out a little, the buzz returned.
What in tarn... Oh, Rick, how'd you get so close?
She said.
Just checking in, Waxy. You really gone done it this time.
But we didn't go and done it, did we? Come on, like the old times.
This ain't the old times, that's the whole takeaway here, baby. You might not get it, but I know you will. I'm getting you out of here.
Oh, are you? This ain't no droid control ship situation, Buster. You think the rest of the Legion's gonna let you waltz out of here?
Yep. See you on the other side.
And with that, Rick pushed the sword back into place, and Cat-lon fell limp again.
Prince, wouldn't be surprised if some more of them came to check in here. We better go make camp someplace else, you know,
Rick called. Yeah. Everyone on your feet. If you don't have feet anymore, raise your hand. If you don't have a hand, well, there must be something you can do. Don't leave anything biological behind, alright? And, sorry, Izzy. Bet you'd like to study this biofuel shit, huh? Probably better it gets forgotten though, you know? Nuke had Izumi in his arms, still unconscious, and surely if she weren't there would be much kicking and screaming in favor of tearing Cat-lon's lab apart for science. But as it was, she was taken back to their hillside camp along with everyone else, including the 2 hivers and a tech hunter who had perished. Although once they were out, it still felt like they were missing something. Or it smelt like they were missing something. Fug, did we lose the egg? Where's Charlie? Nuke asked.
Calling legendary hero, Bloody Elves! Time to go!
Isaiah shouted.
I can't get the skin friend out.
Elle's voice echoed from the egg. Oh yeah, we're missing that guy too, Nuke noticed.
Beep! I will recover the martyr so that we can remember that instead of the other things.
Beep beeped.
Stowe would be proud of that. Go get him.
Rick commented, with Cat-lon slumped over his shoulder. Back in the egg, Els was waist deep in one of the junk piles, which wasn't very deep at all as it happens, but let's not neg the egg. Gustavshan was a different story. Cat-lon's blow had taken his life in an instant, but what remained had crash-landed in the pile and buried itself under some collapsed debris. Perhaps you could say it was just another dead skin spider, but the reckoning was in precisely the opposite spirit.
Robot tree, please help me get the skin friend.
Els said.
Maybe if we lift stuff together, we can do it.
False. Beep! While using the power of teamwork could be effective, let's just use the power of my long robot arms. Beep! So powerful!
Beep said. She started frantically casting stuff aside, throwing away metal and heaving away slabs of concrete.
Wow, you're great at moving things,
Els said.
Thank you, Eggkin. Beep! Maybe the Great Mover will notice me. Scream!
Beep chirped. Her mission was a success. She and Els re-emerged from the egg with Gustavshan in literal tow. Overall, the extraction from Cat-lon's palace had taken many hours, and it was now dark once again. There you go, we did it. Feel good, new man? Nuke asked.
Can't tell yet,
Rick said. You sure you want to take her along? We could throw her in the big hole.
Can always do that later. But you know, I owe her a thing or two, and she can stop all this, same as she started it. You'll see. Maybe.
Good enough for me, man. Alright, so we're probably gonna die if we stay here, right?
Oh, definitely.
Isaiah nodded, matter-of-factly. Great, so let's see if we can get out of here. Who wants to live to tell the tale? There was muted enthusiasm, but that was probably just the painkillers talking, or not talking as it were. Presuming that everyone at least had some desire to live, the guild set off before dawn to make the long trek back home. But no, despite what you might think, the ordeal was not over. There were limited routes out of the Ashlands, and the Skeleton Legion had been practicing for a lockdown for a good millennium. The guild's battle for the fate of biological life, in particular their own, was about to truly begin.